A Sephora package is here, which means I'm going to be testing a new product to let you know if it's worth the money or a waste of money. And today's culprit is this brand new Charlotte Tilbury foundation stick. I honestly didn't hear a lot about this, but I saw it on the Sephora new arrivals and had to pick it up to test it out and let you know if it's worth it, because Charlotte Tilbury, as always, she's pricey. So let's go ahead and get started in today's video. Here she is, the new Charlotte Tilbury Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint Hydrating Foundation Stick. That's a lot of words for a foundation. It says it combines science and color, described as a long-lasting, easy-to-apply, buildable sheer foundation stick with a lightweight, breathable, gliding balm texture that melts seamlessly into skin. And for application, it says lightly glide on and blend from the center of the face outwards for a beautifying veil of color. Build to customize your coverage. So it's really claiming to be lighter coverage but buildable. I got the shade 1 Fair. I have had trouble with Charlotte Tilbury shades in the past pulling too dark, but this one looks nice and light. The packaging is very Charlotte Tilbury. You got the rose gold on there. Feels quite nice. You are getting 0.31 ounces of product compared to like a full ounce of a liquid foundation. So do keep that in mind. We'll see how much we really need to use. Just a super simple little twist up packaging. Let me go ahead and swatch this one. This isn't the first time I'm applying this, so I am familiar with it. The shade is quite nice, I will say, definitely a lot lighter. Let me compare it to the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation in 1 Neutral. This one is also called 1, but we'll swatch this. This one is quite a bit darker. This one has always been just too dark for me. It's also really peachy. So here is the 1 shade of this foundation compared to the 1 shade of this new one. You definitely see a big shade discrepancy there. So if you have found that a lot of our products are too dark for you, this one looks nice and fair, which I like that. I like to see some more light shades. So if you're familiar with my channel, you know I like a lot of more watery sort of liquid foundations, and I really like applying those with a sponge. But with any sort of wax-based or stick foundation, brushes always seem to be the way to go. They just blend it out without making it patchy, because water and waxes don't really necessarily mix that well. So this I'm definitely going to be applying with a brush. Also probably be nice with your fingers, something that you could really just smooth it over the skin versus a sponge that it just usually doesn't apply it in the best way. So let me just start off with a little bit here. I'm gonna be using this Rose Ink foundation brush. I really like this one. It just has a nice angle to it. And we'll just see, this is a small amount. We'll just see how far this gets us, starting on just my cheeks. Did claim to be light coverage. I'm seeing that for sure. And you might hear not to like swipe with a foundation brush, but when applying a cream like this, swiping actually works really well to smooth it over the skin if you're feeling like it's still not blending out. This one took a little bit of work, but it is starting to blend in. Yeah, light coverage for sure. We're gonna need some more of this. So far, even with just the small amount that I'm applying, you might be able to notice that it is glowy, and it's not necessarily because it's that dewy. This foundation actually has shimmer in it, which was like one of the first things I noticed when I was applying it. I was like, oh, okay, this looks really nice and pretty on the skin, but it has a visible shimmer in it, which I think, depending on your skin type and your skin needs, you might really like how glowy and pretty it is. It's kind of like a glowy base and foundation in one in terms of the finish. Like you can even see on my nose there, it gives you a lot of glow. But if you have more textured skin, like even over this blemish, I'm just really hesitant to add a lot of product on there because it's going to emphasize that. So if you do have blemishes, you maybe just want to like go easy with this foundation and then just use a concealer with a more like matte or satin finish. Just with a light layer, I think this is a really beautiful finish foundation. It is lighter coverage. Usually with cream foundations, I have a hard time with them sitting nicely on my texture. Like the Ilia one didn't really work well for me. Honestly, I've never had a stick foundation that I love that much, but I will say that this one feels nice and light and silky, and is also looking nice on the skin, but definitely keep in mind that it has that shimmer in it. It's not accentuating my texture a ton right now, but I have noticed if I'm going in and like building up in more textured areas, you're building that shimmer as well, which is also going to emphasize texture if you do have any in that area. I'm just gonna do a little bit more on my cheeks to see if we can build this up. Yeah, I'm really liking the application with this kind of brush. Shade match wise, I think this is a really nice one. Definitely my favorite shade I've ever tried from Charlotte Tilbury. So I'm going to leave this uncovered because just trying this before, it does not layer the best over texture. It builds up that shimmer and accentuates whatever you're putting that over. So if you are looking to build the coverage in more problem areas, like I mentioned, definitely opt for a concealer. But this is what it looks like, a little bit more built up. You can see I'm still really getting that glow. Kind of reminds me of like the Charlotte Tilbury, you know, their glowy product was sort of mixed into a stick foundation. It would sort of be this product. It's like the love child of both of those. So let me go ahead and grab my Haus Labs concealer. I'm gonna use this for my under eyes, and I also will be covering my blemishes with this. And I'm just using this double-ended Persona brush. I love this. You could also use this end for this foundation. And I'm just going to pat this in. I'm using a brush instead of a sponge for my under eyes today because I don't want to add any sort of water into the equation when I am using a stick foundation like this. To set my under eyes, I'm gonna use this 100% pure bamboo blur powder. I think I'm gonna do a split test today and only set half of my face. I'm gonna set both of my under eyes lightly with this, but we'll go ahead and set the right side of my face with this powder. I'm gonna leave it unset on this side. I'm really curious to see if it's gonna move around a lot. And it's also just nice to test, like, what is the foundation going to behave like on its own without any sort of powder controlling my oil. So I'm just patting this on the side of my face. It looks like even with powder, you can see that glow through the powder. Let me take a closer look. Yeah, it looks really pretty. It doesn't look too shimmery, but you can actually see, like, you can see the shimmer particles on my face if you look very, very up close, but they're nice and smooth. Usually don't like shimmery, like I would never go for a shimmery foundation, but I think it's kind of like a tasteful amount of shimmer, at least with the light layer that I did. But like I mentioned, if you do build it up, it's going to build that shimmer as well. It's actually interesting that both sides have a similar amount of glow. Even though I set this down, you can still see that shimmer through the powder. For the rest of my makeup, for bronzer, I'm going to use the Surratt bronzer. This is the Soleil Clair. It's really nice, more like reddish tone bronzer. I have a full video on all my favorite bronzers that do not pull orange if you're interested and haven't seen that one already. Let's just see how this applies over the foundation, both on the set and unset side. And then for blush, I'm going to use something matte because the skin is so glowy. I'm going to use the Persona Bubble Blush, the powder version of it. They do also have the cream stick. Such a pretty cool brighter pink, but it's nice and sheer and buildable. And then for some highlight, the Laura Mercier Baked Radiance powder in 01. This is such an underrated, really pretty, smooth, natural looking highlight. I don't necessarily feel like I need highlight because this foundation is glowy, but it looks so pretty. I feel like any powder you're putting on top of this foundation shows through and sort of makes it its own glowy product. That's why I went with matte products, so I wouldn't like overload the shimmer level. But look how like pretty and reflective the skin looks. Like it definitely is giving me glow. We'll see if it wears well though. Like it doesn't feel dewy or oily, so this might be a really good one for like combo oily skin and even dry skin. We will see. For this eyeshadow look, I actually used this little Charlotte Tilbury quad. This is the Mesmerizing Maroon. I don't think they have this exact one, but they definitely have like more purple shades that are similar. I do really like these palettes. I think they're so pretty. And I'm gonna do some Maybelline Sky High Mascara in brown. I did see Maybelline has a new, I think it's called their like Firework mascara or Firecracker mascara. It comes in this like bright pink tube. Interested in trying it. This has been my favorite since it came out basically, so I wonder if it will rival this one. If you've tried it, let me know what you think. And then for the lips, I have the Iconic Nude lip liner here. Definitely not my favorite lip liner. I don't really think these are worth it. Like I like my NYX ones better in ColourPop, but it's pretty decent. I mean, they are really nice formulas. It's just like I feel like you could get the same formula at the drugstore, so that's why I'm like, not necessarily worth it. This shade, same with Pillow Talk, they both pull warm on me. This Iconic Nude I do like better than the Pillow Talk lip liner. And then I have also tried the Pillow Talk lipstick, but a good alternative if you feel like that pulls warm on you like I do. Very Victoria is a really nice alternative. Also, they came out with Pillow Talk Fair, which looks like a cool version of Pillow Talk. It looks gorgeous. I know some of you have recommended that in the comments. I should have ordered that, honestly. But I'm going to use the Very Victoria today since it's what I have, and this is a matte formula. And I think I'll keep the lip matte because the skin is so glowy. I will say the finish is so beautiful, but like you can see that it is shimmery on your skin, and like the texture on my forehead, it's emphasized a little bit, which I don't totally mind because it's like I love the glow that it's giving me. But as our first check-in, it is 2:45 now, so I will wear it till the very end of the night. And this is the unset side and this is the set side. We'll see how it changes throughout the day, if it starts to break down like a lot of cream foundations tend to do on my skin. But right now I am really liking the feel of it. Honestly, it doesn't really feel like a foundation, especially since it's a stick. It feels really light for a stick foundation, and the finish is very pretty. It was nice and buildable, but for sure keep in mind it's light coverage. It does have that glow and shimmer in the formula, so if that's like a deal breaker for you, you're probably not going to enjoy this one. And maybe if you have uneven skin texture, it might not be your favorite. It's just something you're gonna have to ask yourself, is like, if you use a lot of glowy like products under your foundations, you might really like this because it's gonna be like a 2-in-1. You don't need to do that glowy product under because it already has that really like high shine finish to it. I think it's interesting that it is glowy without being oily. So for me, when I have combo skin, like that's a really nice idea of a foundation. But yeah, wear test, verdict is still out. I'll see you in the next check-in. All right, it is 10:37, so this is going to be our check-in. This stick foundation is a very unique formula. It is so glowy. Wear-wise, by the way, this was the unset side, which you can see I am visibly a lot more oily on this side, and then this was the set down side, which did help to control oil around my nose. But overall, I am looking very dewy because it has this shiny finish, and then as the oils break through your skin, makes you even shinier, which if you like a high glow look, I think you honestly might love this, as long as you feel like you're not going to get too oily with it. I would say if you do have more oily skin, you're probably just going to end up looking extra shiny if that's not what you're going for. Didn't really find that it like is bunching up around my nose. It is sort of bunching up in my smile lines ever so slightly, but it's actually not creasing. Did get some movement on my blemishes, but that was more of like where I put the concealer. But the rest of my face, where it was just foundation, is looking really nicely. Like it definitely didn't crease or cake up around my nose, which can really be like a troublesome area. I like that you can use so little of this. It is light coverage, but you're getting that like nice glowy perfected look. If you like really lightweight feeling products that are more light coverage and you love the glow, might be a good one. Like, I don't think this is something I would want to wear for super long wearing foundation, because as I get more oily, it's just a little too shiny for me. But if I just wanted to, like, you know, I feel like this is a good like going out to eat foundation. Like, you just want to look pretty and glowy. It's very like vacation-y. Could be a good one, honestly. It is pricier, but if you feel like a lot of stick foundations don't look good on you, this one was like surprisingly really nice for my skin texture. But if you do have any sort of like dry skin or a lot of uneven texture, shimmer is just going to inherently accentuate that. So if you're not comfortable with it, I would avoid it. But if you love shimmer and you're always wearing like glowy products under your foundation anyway, if you wanted a 2-in-1, this would probably be a solid pick. It does also have those skincare benefits. It doesn't feel like it slides around or it's too heavy. It's definitely not going to be something for everybody, but if you're a glow lover and all those things that I mentioned previously, it might be worth a shot. And I really like this shade too. I love how light it is. Really good shade match from Charlotte Tilbury. I would love to know what you're thinking of this new foundation, if it's way too glowy for you, or if you're really interested in getting the Charlotte Tilbury glow, because it definitely gives you that sort of effect. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe if you did find this video helpful, so you can see more of my foundation reviews and other videos. I will pop another video on the screen here that I think you might like, so we can keep hanging out. I'll see you over there. Bye.